Guys, we finally did it. We finally hit 10K after so many freaking years, man. It is crazy. So if you're watching this, it's December 31st, last day of 2019, and it just kind of blew my mind, man, about how much has changed over this last year. This was a goal I actually set out earlier in the year. I wrote it down, and I can't believe, like, it's so crazy when you write shit down, things actually kind of happen in your life. And I think that was a major theme. And for anyone who is kind of like wondering, for anyone that's kind of like down in the dumps and is just like wondering, what am I doing with my life? Something that I really encourage you guys to do is to go into your Facebook, go into your Instagram, go into your Google Photos and stuff. I use Google Photos all the time because I actually, a lot of my things are backed up onto my Google Photos, and whether it's screenshots or anything like that. So it just captures all these little nuggets of my life. And yesterday I just spent 5 hours just, you know, going through all the wins and losses of this year. And if last year was a really tough year for me. I was starting over again. I left pharmacy. My dad passed away. I wasn't quite sure about what I wanted to do or commit to at the time. And this year was kind of like a rebirth, man. It's like the phoenix rising through the ashes. And it was really a very interesting year. I'm not going to say it was an easy year because it was actually really difficult, but a lot of great things happened. And so, what I wanted to do was just kind of go over like what happened during my year. As you see, I have like some notes here, but I'm not going to read it off. That's like really not my thing. It's just for mental notes, but I just want to kind of recap my year, go over where I really kicked ass, what I really struggled with, things I learned, and what I'm excited for coming up in the next years. Just because, I see a lot of these videos coming up. I saw Tim De La Ghetto's video. I also saw Vanessa Lau's video. Really emotional, really like kind of how I feel sometimes, like about not knowing the direction of 2020 or knowing your vision or what you're going to be doing next. I kind of felt that, man, earlier in this month, and that was only like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago after coming from Dan Pena's. But after surrounding myself around so many people, it just blew my mind. Anyways, I wrote a whole article on it. You can check refugeehustle.com. And I'll leave the link below about the article where I talk about me finding my purpose, my passion, my all that, as well, the step-by-step that I've been just going through, and I'm not saying I've found it, but it's definitely, I feel like I'm on the right path as well. Anyways, let's kind of recap what happened this year for me. First things first, man, I went on this crazy, I'm not sure if you guys know, maybe I mentioned it a few times in my YouTube videos, but I went on this crazy 90-day challenge where I want to make $30,000 per month. And I was taking my health, wealth, all that sort of stuff. I had clear goals and was just grinding every single day. I was really inspired by my friend Joey Rich, or I don't know if he wants me to say his real name, but Joey Rich. He's owner of Live Rich and stuff. I saw his blog and I was like, holy shit, this is actually really cool that he's documenting his journey. So I tried to go on this 90-day challenge, and I was doing pretty well at first, getting a lot done every single day. If you guys don't know, I was actually trying to, earlier in the year, I totally forgot about this. I was actually trying to create my own high ticket program. It was called Winning Clients. And so the first students I had were a lot of HTC students, and it was completely free. I was just running the offer just for the sake of running it. So I was running that at the time. People really loved it. We had a good old emotional times, man. And it was really a personal development course within a winning clients, or helping people find their first clients for their high ticket closing agency, right? And so also at the time, so I was doing that we're looking for clients. And to be totally upfront, it was really a rough time beginning of the year and late last year. We were working with clients, but they weren't our ideal clients. We had to like cold call, or we had to they just weren't ready for a high ticket closing team. And I think like definitely if you decide to go into closing or sales or any client work, sometimes since closing is so dependent on the type of leads that you get and all that, a lot of time people are not ready for a high ticket closing team. So we're running into that a lot. But because we were looking for clients, we were meeting a lot of different people, man. I reconnected with some childhood friends. I met up Billie Jean and some people. Billie Jean is marketing, and met some of the people through there. I met like lawyers. I met different marketing agencies. It was really, really cool. I also met RX Comedy. So if you haven't checked out his channel, he does like pharmacy comedy too. That's when we first connected. I met Jay Dharma Swanga, really cool girl. She's really killing it at the age of like, I don't know, 18. At the time she was like 17 and stuff. She's like, I'm the 17-year-old girl, but she's someone of huge ambition for such a person of young age. It's really commendable, actually. And during this time, I actually reached out to Vanessa Lau too, before she kind of blew up on the internet space. So I was kind of connecting with all these people. During this time also, I met my friend Eric Yang. I don't think I ever posted our interview because I never edited it. Whoops. Really bad with that. And definitely I need to get an editor for next year. But I met Eric Yang, and he was definitely one of my closest friends. He helped me kind of find my purpose. If you don't know who Eric is, he's known for doing virtual summits. He knows a lot of the authority leaders in the industry and stuff. And we actually really connected really well. And I thought that was really, really cool. I also met up my girl, Marielle. She was on my closing team before. And Matt Tran. And so we did a little powwow, and I actually reached out to Scott Osford at this time too. So he's a digital marketer. I wouldn't call him a digital marketer. He was a marketer. He helps businesses scale from 6 to 7 figures or 7 to 8 figures. So it was really kind of cool reaching out to him. But all these people I'm mentioning, we weren't really close. It was kind of like planting seeds in the making, right? And just watching them grow. I mean, I would never really pitch these people on like, do you need a high ticket closer? I always think that's the wrong way to go. But it really goes like at this point, I just wanted to meet as many people in the industry as possible, because I knew for myself, I bought a lot of different programs for different people. I just want to kind of see how the top leaders think and be associated with these people and just create real friendships. I mean, I feel like it's kind of manipulative to say I'm just trying to get in their social circle, but really in actuality, I just want to become friends with people, because entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey. And so that was kind of what happened. And also, my friend Rich from Rich and Itch, he actually stayed over at my place. He met my jiu-jitsu coach, and now they're working together. It was really amazing, man. I think one of the cool things about this year as well was that I helped scale my friends' marketing agencies to 6 figures, right? 2 of them. And it's like freaking amazing, because being able to find win-win-wins between my friends, between both friends, and seeing how people can work together to scale to both their businesses to the next scale or the next level, that was an amazing feeling for me. So that was really, really cool. But anyways, so that was my month of January. So I was meeting a ton of people and doing all that. And so the next month, I meet P.S. Amela. I did a quick video with her. And I actually got ringworm from jiu-jitsu, which really, really sucked. And I think more importantly, I wrote down that I wanted to go to Dan Pena's castle, right? I remember writing 220, go to Dan Pena's castle. And thank God I did not actually go wait that long, because fun fact, December 2019 was the last Castle seminar. He called us the last hope. I don't know if it's going to be his last QLA, but definitely like that is on his mind. So he does like he's probably not going to do it. And it goes to show you, like goals should never have. Dan Pena is totally right. You should never have timelines. You should, if you want something, you should do it as fast as humanly possible. So that was really interesting. And during this time too, I was kind of gaining notoriety in the HTC community, and people were starting to reach out to me. Like this kid, his name is Noah. He actually ended up being my channel manager for my YouTube channel. It was really cool. We set up some systems and processes. So if you go in the comments and stuff, or he never handled my comments, but if you would go into the copy or description of my YouTube and see some of my tags, he was the one that optimized a lot of them, and it was really great kind of sharing that time with him. Eventually things didn't work out with him just because visions didn't align. And I think through that lesson, I just learned like, dude, free work is not always the best. Because it still takes time training people. And even with my closing agency, like at this time, like I think around this time too, I dissolved half of it. I mean, I remember a lot of people ask me, do you have a huge closing agency still? Do you have a huge team? Because I think I had like 15 plus people, but that wasn't a true team at all. And so I basically had Tom was MVP. He actually helped me have a lot of conversations with people, see where they lied and stuff like that, and or see what they're not lie, like where they're, I guess, what they wanted, to see if this still fit their vision. Because a lot of us, we were looking for different clients still, even after like maybe 1 year, and we get really excited when we're like, dude, this person's down, and then we find out, oh shit, this person's not qualified. So it was a real tough grind, guys. Like I'm telling you, it was really, really hard. And so there was that. Also, I think during this time too, I was featured on a lot of different podcasts. I was featured on the Sales Evangelicist with Donald Kelly. It was really cool. I was actually introduced to him by my friend Alex Barker, who I also did an interview with. But it was kind of really cool being featured and getting known for doing sales and stuff like that, And at this time, I wasn't really that great, to be honest with you. I was still like pretty rough, man. And I think, I'm not going to lie, I think one of the major things for me was that I was actually really scared to kind of delve into sales and take a lot of different sales calls, because I don't know, there's that fear of rejection, then the initial sales type of things that you go through. And that's what I was going through every single day too, but it goes to show you that. Anyways, that was what I was featured in. And I also met up my really good friend Tam Pham, and introduced him to my channel manager, and we had a really great time. He actually gave me a board game. I haven't seen him in a while, but it goes to show you, like, these people that I met so many years ago, like, it's so great that we can just kick it like we did before and stuff. So that was like the second month. And plus, don't worry, I'm going to go faster, but later in the year, this year I also turned 31, man. And I think that was a really cool experience, just because I don't know, 31, people really regret their 30s and stuff like that. But like for me, I definitely had a really rough start in my 30s, but this was the time where I felt super like a little bit of lower self, where I was feeling kind of unsure about my future, unsure about my financial future, because I still didn't have a steady client at this point, right? But during this month, like shortly after my birthday, we literally got our first major client. And this is like one of my main clients right now, who basically I currently primarily close for. And I remember first starting with this client, and I totally fucking bombed, bro. Like, I remember taking the Dan Locke script, and I was like, fuck me, like, dude, why can't I get this right? And I remember this, I was like, this closing stuff, it is not for me. It is not for me. I am not good at it. I should find something else. I should just quit it completely. I still remember saying that. And then Tom was like, hey, give it some more time. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But, it took some time to really, really get going. And I remember at this same time, I was launching something called Kick-Ass Investing, and I actually launched my YouTube channel this year for Kick-Ass Investing. The reason why I don't really promote it that much on this channel is because I want it to kind of live on its own, right? And I don't want to have, like, I don't want to force people to kind of go Kick-Ass Investing unless they truly find it. But that was the investing site that I launched this year. I've actually been working on it since 2015, I guess. when I started doing zero to launch, that's when I really came out with the process of like, oh, let's go into digital courses. I wish I did it 4 years ago, but I didn't. And I remember at the time I was just like, fuck, dude, like, this editing is killing me. I was spending so much time editing. And I remember I was like, fuck, now I gotta do the website. This is gonna be super, super hard. So during this time, I actually hit up my friend Rich from Rich and Niche, and he helped me build out my website. And it just made me realize how many good, great, amazing friends I truly, truly, truly have. I am truly blessed. I think that is the number one thing, is that people are so willing to help me out. And without his help, I would never got it off the ground and stuff like that. So he helped me everything with the email copy. He helped me design the website. He helped me kind of give me moral support. And like I said, doing entrepreneurship, it can be a very tough experience, whether you're launching your own course or anything like that. It can be really debilitating and stuff too. So that was kind of my March. And then April was really cool because I started I'm not sure if you guys know, but if you type in balding at 30, I actually ranked number 1 for it on YouTube currently right now. And I shaved my head and I started going viral. Well, I wouldn't say viral. Virality is really like, I don't know, like some people say, you're gonna viral is like hitting 1 million, but I started getting a surge of views with 2 things: ballsing and 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu. It is so crazy that I started ranking for Jiu-Jitsu as a white belt at the time, which was crazy. And I think around this time too, as soon as I started ranking, pretty closely, not too long after I actually obtained my blue belt from Eddie Bravo and my boy Patrick Donabedian. If you guys don't know, it's always been my dream to train at 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu. I remember when I was still doing Kung Fu and stuff, when I was doing some pretty amateur, like think about Dragon Ball Z, like you got all these different disciplines and stuff of people like fighting and stuff, style versus style, think UFC 1 and stuff like that. I remember reading Eddie Bravo's books like Mastering the Twister and all these, the Mastering the Rubber Guard and stuff like that, and I would practice in the gym room and stuff. But I was not good because, jiu-jitsu isn't something where you can just read a book and learn it, right? And so just like anything in life, you have to practice it. And I never thought I would ever get to train at 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu. And it could just kind of show you the dedication I put in the last year or so before that to make that happen. And it was really kind of cool, like getting a blue belt from Eddie Bravo. My goal right now, one of my visions, is to get my black belt as soon as humanly possible. And what is really cool is, let's see, do I have my phone? Yes, I do have my phone. Actually, This is kind of like jumping script here, but not sure if you can see it. But I have 3 goals for 2020. I created these screens and stuff where I play all these goals at night and stuff, or different things I'm learning, so I could obtain it subconsciously. I know it sounds kind of bullshit and shit, but like honestly, when I play like tutorials or play damn peñas and stuff like that, I actually have vivid dreams about this sort of stuff. So it was really crazy. So 3 major goals of 2020 is receiving my 10th planet jiu-jitsu black belt as fast as humanly possible. Probably not going to get it within the next year, just to be fair, but that's part of setting really big goals. You like, a lot of your goals are unrealistic, right? They're really difficult. I want to close 3 pharmacy M&A deals to secure generational wealth. I want to grow this channel to 100,000 subscribers and help others live a fulfilling, purposeful, holistic life. All it takes is just one viral video, and that was really cool. So anyways, around this time too, around April, I actually secured one of my second main client before as well, and that was also my friend who's actually a viewer of Refugee Hustle. And he contacted me and we started talking around this time, and I was like, damn, this is crazy. So it really goes to show you, just like kind of talking about your experiences, because if you watch my videos, I never claim myself to be like a sleep fool of closing and stuff like that. At this time, I probably wasn't the best at closing either. Like, I was okay, I was getting sales every once in a while, but I definitely was not a top performer. I was not the top 10, like I was not the top 10%. And then shortly after this, like in May, Tom, Zach, and I meet together in LA, and it's the first time. It was really cool kind of connecting Tom and Zach together, because now we're like really close friends. We talk almost, well, not this month, we haven't been talking as much, but almost every single night we would just like talk together, just call each other up via Facebook video. And that's why people are like, Facebook is trash. No, dude, it's an amazing tool, because you can connect with anyone in the world. We're like so many I don't know how many miles away we are, but Tom was in Texas, Zach was in Arizona, and it was really cool. And at this time, I start getting a lot more referrals, and it's pretty cool. And as I'm going through this timeline, the referrals are coming in faster and faster and faster. One of my friends recommended me to this pickup artist this pickup artist from a channel. I'm not going to mention a channel, but from this channel that I used to watch all the time. So it was really crazy to see all these different things. And I think May was when I did the official launch for email on Kick-Ass Investing, and I got my first few sales, man. It was really crazy. I think I made about maybe 5,000 or 3,000 off the bat. Not the best launch, but proof of concept, man. And people actually got results from it, and I'm always trying to make that class better. I'm actually looking into to purchasing Kartra to add more type of additions to the Kick-Ass Investing Academy and Masterclass. And when I say Masterclass, I'm not talking about a pre-recorded 45-minute bullshit. It's really full course, like teaching people how to do their Roth IRA and stuff. And I've kind of learned throughout this year too, like, about values, right? Right now is the time of guru shaming and guru calling out, and it's I wouldn't call these gurus a scam, but oftentimes, like, as someone who's a consumer and buys a lot of courses, a lot of time these programs are undervalued or under-delivered, right? And so it was always my goal to over-deliver and to continue to over-deliver with these products and stuff, because I never want to take someone's money who doesn't feel like they got the full value out of it. Like, that's just not me. And it's kind of like, as I'm going through this timeline, it just makes me really realize that it makes me realize that like where my values lie, where do my ethics lie, what do I like, what don't I like. Yes, someone could pay with a credit card and do the whole 0% APR thing, but do I really want people to do that as a authentic company or brand? And I think this year was the year that I've kind of not battled it, but really kind of see where do my ethics lie and what do I feel strongly about. So that was really cool. Also during May, I dropped 10 G's. I think, oh yeah, so during May and April, I actually dropped 20 G's on Dan Pena's to go to a castle, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. It was because my friend Tao, this little short Vietnamese girl, she used to be on my team and stuff. She's not doing closing anymore, but we were talking and she's like, I'm going to the castle. She ended up not going to the castle, but she was like, she said something that was really important to me, and she was like, dude, if you want to make it work out, you can make it work out. And I was like, oh shit, you're right. And if this little Vietnamese girl gets it, why can't I? And so that was really my motivation to kind of go to a castle. If you guys are wondering, I actually wasn't planning to go to a castle, but it wasn't until April time where I took the plunge. And then I also took another plunge by working with Scott Ulsford. I spent another at least 10 G's for his high ticket incubator system. And I was purchasing other courses during this time too, because I really wanted to throw every single cent that I was earning back into my business. And I worked to kind of optimize my own high ticket program as well, right? So I remember designing it over the weekend. It was really cool. I got to meet a lot of cool people. I've actually met one of my clients through that program too, which was amazing, man. And it really goes to show you, like, really, if you're ever debating if you should go somewhere, you just never know the doors it might open in the future. It was really, really crazy. So I met with Scott to work on my high ticket program. We did all the marketing, we did the stage development, all that sort of stuff. And I remember hopping onto validation calls, and I was so not nervous, right? Well, yeah, I was a little bit nervous, but there's something about selling your own product. And keep in mind, at this point, I was getting decent at closing, so I knew I was better than your average beginner closer, but I wasn't like top notch at the time, right? And I remember speaking to these people about my high ticket program, and it flopped every single thing. So from this lesson, because at this point you gotta realize I was running my high ticket from like December until like March, or whatever 12 weeks was from January. That's pretty much March. I was running my high ticket, my free one with all the clients, with the free people, with the 5 or 6 people. I think some people dropped out of it just because the nature is really hard, and they decided closing was not for me, or was not for them. And so I spent all this fucking time on this high ticket program only to have it flop. Why? Because the truth is, a lot of high ticket closers, a lot of them don't have money to pay for a high ticket program, right? And people are like, why can't you make it just a smaller price? Because here's the truth, man. Like, if you decrease the price, especially for a high ticket program, it's not going to be scalable. And one of the things that for me is just like, I would just want a high impact, high value program, and I'm better off figuring out a different idea where I can impact more people. I haven't decided yet. Since I am looking at Kartra, maybe I will throw my high ticket program for free or whatever. Maybe I'll do a small price point. I haven't decided yet. This is like spur of the moment, but maybe I'll launch it one of these days, and just to help other people out, you know. And so that really sucked, man, like seeing that business venture flop. But you know, when I talk to a bunch of my other friends, they've had tons of business adventures flop, and luckily for this business, it's very little capital, and it actually made my closing a lot better because I understand high ticket program design. I actually understand the core pieces of the back end, what it's missing, the selling points, and all that. So that was really cool about taking that program. but I definitely felt very discouraged after, and I kind of decided at that point, maybe this is not what I want to do right now at this point. And I'm not saying I'll never do a high ticket program. Maybe I will, but I just decided to put it on hold, and just until I figure out my vision where I want to go, and I'll get into that a bit later. Yeah, and around so June comes, and I actually meet my really great friend, or my first online mentor, Ramit Sethi. It's no secret that I follow from him, that I look up to Ramit, because he's one of those few. I don't want to call him a guru, but he's one of those few teachers, online teachers, where he has a very strong ethics, principles, and he's very contrarian as well, and he's authentic. Like, I love some of the things that Ramit does, and I've never felt gypped from any program. Like, it's such high value, and he focuses on results. I just really respect him a lot, and a lot of his values I actually grew up with, and so I looked up to him a lot. So I got to meet him in real life. I actually gave him a personalized thank you card, not with like, hey, thanks for me, blah 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 blah. I sent him a video. I sent him and I basically cut and pasted all the results that I got from Ramit's programs over the last 10 plus years. And so I'm not sure if he ever opened it. I hope he did. But, those were all my results, man. And I thought that was really, really powerful. Like, I think it's one thing to say that you got a lot of value out of something, but to kind of like collectively write out, print screenshots of all the results that you did, man, I was on a high. So it was really a high point in my life. I started gaining weight randomly at this point too. But anyways, actually during this time too, I actually go to my really good friend Angela's wedding this year. For y'all that don't know, Angela actually got married, and I've been kind of keeping her life on not private. I'd love to have her on a podcast. Maybe I will have her soon, but maybe as soon as I get settled in with my new apartment. But there was that. Also during this time, I actually traveled back to Boston. So what's really crazy about this year was, like, in the past, I never really got to travel that much, right? And so I traveled on my friend's wedding in Boston. My friends are getting pregnant too. They're like popping out babies. They surprised me. They're like, Kevin, we're having a kid. I was like, what the fuck? Being in California kind of like left me in this hyperbolic time chamber where time does not change. You don't age. Like, you stay that 25-year-old, but I kind of forget I'm not that 25-year-old anymore. I'm 30. I'm 31, about to be 32 very soon. And I was just traveling a lot during this time. So then I met my friend Tao again. I met my friend Jasmine, some of the other team members that I used to have on my team that, decided that closing wasn't for them, right? And I started shooting more content with, like, my friend Tim. Like, he's a digital apothecary. Checked out Encore Boston. We also hit up Cannon Bree's goodbye party. Not gonna lie, I felt kind of bummed during this time, because if you guys don't know my relationship with Cannon Bree, like, we've always been really, really close. And especially during this last year, we would always meet for boba or tea or something like that, and just hang out and just chat and just share ideas and stuff like that. We're all trying to do our own thing, and it was just kind of cool knowing that, if I was ever feeling lonely, like, I could really go to them and just have an outside opinion on things. And having them gone for a bit really bummed me out. But hey, fast forward to now, they're back in California, which is really cool. I also meet up my friend Brett Nobles from Your Income's I think is Your Income Space. I believe that's his brand, but he basically teaches Airbnb people how to Airbnb people how to rent out their Airbnb and make money off their property, even if it's a rental too, which was crazy. That was really interesting, man. And so we meet in real life. I think I took a picture, but I can't find it for some reason. But during this time, we just meet up, and it was just really cool. And I was telling him about high ticket program design and all this sort of stuff, man. I thought that was really cool that, this year I've been able to add a lot of value to people just based off the courses I've done and some of the things I've been implementing. And if you can't tell, this year was the year where I actually got off my ass and I did things, right? I didn't think about things too much. I would just go out and do it. Like before, I would probably, it would have taken forever for me to launch something like Kick-Ass Investing. But I just did it, and I think the longer I stay in this industry, the more I'm just more on top of things, of just executing without thinking too much and just trusting myself that I'll figure it out along the way. And also during this time, man, I start becoming a top performer. I remember I got shouted out by the sales manager on the team. He's like, "Kevin, you're on fire this week." I was like, "Really? I didn't even notice." But I realized, I'm starting to do really well, and I'm starting to understand like these subconscious cues and all these nuances of closing that I never knew before. And so I thought it was really, really cool that I was becoming unconsciously competent, right? I think that's a word, right? Where you don't know that you're really being good. And I was like, damn, I am getting good. And I start, this is the time where I start making a lot more money, and I start becoming more confident as a closer, and just it was an amazing feeling. And looking back on it, it was pretty good that I didn't have my high ticket at the time, because I wasn't ready. And I feel like sometimes life, looking back, like life will let you do things whenever you're ready. I mean, like it goes, like it depends how resourceful you are and all that sort of stuff. But I just wasn't ready at the time to teach other people. I feel like now I'm in a better place. I don't know how much more time I need, but that was really cool. And then I also go to Vegas for my uncle's birthday. And that's the thing. I get to spend so much time with my friends and family and be where the fuck I want, when I want. That was an amazing feeling that I never got before, never had before in pharmacy. And I really take advantage of it. And I ended up going to, shortly after, I ended up going to Vancouver to Rich and Niche retreat. And so we spent a week out in what we call Cold Bali, and just kick it. And it was really fun. We're playing Catan, this game where you're like trading and stuff. And I forget what it's called. Something Catan. I was known as the king of sheep and whatnot. So it was pretty funny, man. And also during this time, not too long after I came back, I was featured on the Business Pharmacy podcast by Mike. And it was really cool because I actually got a new fan base from that niche. And that's when I announced that one of the things I'm looking into is doing mergers and acquisitions for pharmacy. So it was during that time where people were asking me about, "Oh, you're doing M&A for pharmacy?" I was like, "I'm thinking about it. Not 100% sure." Obviously, I still have to go to Dan Peña's and do all that sort of stuff, but that was really cool, just being featured on different podcasts. I mean, never in my life have I been featured on so many podcasts. And yeah, that was really cool. And then shortly after that, I started taking Scott Olsford's Rewired program, where it's like a hypnotherapy class. Really had some amazing breakthroughs and confidence boosters in that. Made me realize a lot about myself, a lot about how my state, and it was an amazing experience as well. And I also went to Dallas and hired my friend that I met, or that I've known for a while, as a content planner for Kick-Ass Investing. And he created a lot of content. He created a lot of ideas for me. This strategy I'm still implementing into 2020. So it's going to be really, really cool. And I also paid off one of my school freaking loans, man. One of my undergrad loans. I was like, I didn't even notice. My mom gives me this letter. She's like, hey, your loans are done. I was like, oh shit, really? I didn't even know. So, I found that out when I went back to Boston for another wedding. So at this point, I've been to Boston 3 times. That's unheard of before, right? And so also during this month, I make a crap ton of money. Same with October and November. And I think just to give you some reference, it wasn't a crap ton of money in September. I think it was about maybe 4,000 to 5,000, but really October, November, I was breaking about almost 10,000, maybe 14,000 per month. So it was really cool. Like I was having a lot of fun. I was going Disney, like Nellen, she takes me to Disneyland, and my mom visits me in California. And I started working with some more dream clients as well. And actually, one of my dream clients came up to me, the one that I said earlier in the year that I wanted to work with, came up to me, and I couldn't work with him just because I just didn't have the capacity to. It was so much, right? And so I also hit up the Apex Gala, and during this November winter time, I start Muay Thai and yoga. That was something huge because keep in mind, since 2018 or 2017, I wanted to do both these things, right? It was on my list every single year, but I would go, like, this is really embarrassing, by the way, but I would go to the academy, go to the school, go outside and just like bitch out. And I would feel so shitty every single time I bitched out over and over and over again. It's something I never want to admit, but I essentially cunted out, and it was not a pleasant experience. It was a battle. But as soon as I started going consistently, I felt really great. But then I got injured. Like I tore during jiu-jitsu, maybe I wasn't giving myself enough rest, but I heard a pop and I was like, fuck. And luckily, at first I thought I tore my meniscus, but actually it ended up being I just sprained it. And it still hurts a little bit right now, but, I'm going to wait till that heals up before I go back to jiu-jitsu. And if you guys really want to know the truth, during this time, I actually put on a white coat and I actually go back to a pharmacy health fair and help out some USC kids and stuff. And few people recognize me. It was really cool. But that was pretty much my November. And then December, actually, my really great friend Trin, she had her first kid, went to go visit her and held her baby, and it was really it was like, it made me realize that I'm fucking old, bro. Like I'm getting old, people are getting married, all this other stuff, man. And made me kind of put this fire under my ass to figure my shit out in life. And so December, the theme was like, dude, I've been waiting to figure out my vision, my passion, my purpose in life for the last 31 years. Nothing is going to change unless I do something about it. So month of December, I almost make no money whatsoever. I actually take a lot of the break off because I'm going to Dan Peña's. I catch up with like old friends, like my friend Joe from Joe Jitsukawa from JK Films and stuff. We just start catching up again, just like old times. And during this time, I'm preparing for Dan Peña's Castle. I literally wrote like 28 pages for my application for the questionnaire. Another dude, I've written so much over this last month. It is fucking crazy. And I was writing down my vision daily, doing my affirmations. I go to Dan Peña's Castle. And that was a moment where I was like, holy fuck, this shit is so real. Like, man, I can't believe he actually owns this castle, right? And it opened up my mind about there's another world out there that no matter how much you feel like you think you know, there's a whole world that you don't. And I realize why so many of us stay so average is because everyone around us has average ass goals, right? And the only thing that's keeping me from that wall of fame, from Dan Peña's wall of fame, It's just my level of goals. It made me really realize, think like, dude, I've been handicapping myself the whole time, and why am I so scared to make bigger goals? Well, it's because if I tell people these big goals, I'm being held accountable. And when I'm held accountable and I fail, it's all on me. And that was a real hard pill to swallow, right? Because I remember, like I wrote about this on Refugee Hustle, but I remember Dan Pena was like, who wants to share their affirmations, right? The first guy, he has such big affirmations. I was almost embarrassed to fucking say anything. And I was like, wow, these goals are really, really weak. And then when I looked at the wall of fame while they were talking, I was like, these people have even bigger goals that make his goals look like shit, right? And so I think after that, I took a whole week just trying to figure out my life, try and figure out what I want to do, try and figure out what is the path to generational wealth. What do I want Refugee Hustle to be? And I feel like for the first time in my life, I understand my purpose in the world, where I'm meant to lead. I want to create a digital academy to teach people about how to live a rich life, both in their relationships, generational wealth, and also and just lifestyle design. Like, dude, so often this is where I fucked up before. It's just like a lot of time we pick these fucking goals. We go into these careers without considering, what are we trying to achieve? What are we trying to do? What is the end destination? And I feel like this year was kind of like learning so much about myself, and I stressed so much about it. I still remember like me in a garage with Eric Yang, and we were just mapping it out. Those times where I was sitting on a floor with Rich from Rich and Niche and my friend Peter, trying to map out my YouTube channel, being like, what the fuck is this all about? What am I good at? And I feel like this past month I've just been building it, laying one brick at a time, and now I'm having better clarity than ever. So that was amazing. And I get to play bagpipes, by the way, in the UK. And by the way, the UK does not have the best food. It has a really great Indian food, actually, surprisingly. But the food is quite rough if you're on keto diets and stuff like that. Haggis was pretty bomb though. But I think more importantly, to round up my year, I got to spend Christmas with my family. That was an amazing time because this was the first time I spent since 2014 with my family, and it's my first real Christmas without my father, so it felt a little bit weird, but really was great. I also made the decision to roll up pharmacies. I asked Dan Pena to be my chairman, so I'm really excited for that. And I also spent my grandma's birthday with her. It was her 81st birthday, and also during this time I hired my first editor for Kick-Ass Investing. When I came back, I was just like, what are all the ways I can free up my time? What are all the ways I can do all, like, to scale up Refugee Hustle, my businesses and all that, like take it to the next level? Like, how can I double down on it? And I started holding myself accountable by tracking almost every single hour everything that I'm going to get done, every hour that I spend was really amazing. So that was kind of my story. And I know this video has been quite long, but I just want to kind of give you a nutshell in like 30 minutes about what's been happening in my life. And, think about where I kicked ass, man, where I really thrived this year. It was really being able to take action. Like, even though I was scared shitless, showing up every single day, even though I didn't really want to, right? Whether it's jujitsu or sales calls or anything like that. and just having tenacity to make things better, right? I remember writing a lot of these goals, like I want to meet Scott Ulsford, I want to meet this person, I want to meet that person. And by the end of the year, like, it's so crazy that those things can actually happen. And it's just like the first level. I just feel like I'm peeling the first onion, like layer of the onion, man. And I'm just like, holy fuck, what else is possible if I dream a little bit bigger, right? If I dream a little bit bigger, and because like literally subconsciously, like as woo woo as it sounds, like because Dan Pena, he's not like a woo woo type of personal development type of person. He is a more hardcore facts and figures guy, and he's a no bullshit guy. But if he believes in affirmations, and I've been playing my affirmations, I've been playing all this shit at night, like I mentioned earlier. But if he believes in it, then definitely there's something behind it. And I find myself a lot of time kind of like thinking about my goals. Like one of my affirmations is like I want to live at the Vermont in LA, or like the Vine or Sunset Vine like apartments in Hollywood. I know it's hella bougie, but you know, like that is one of my goals or one of my dreams or one of the things I want to do. And I started I was like, oh, I wonder how much it costs. And I don't think if I set my affirmation, I would have really taken the steps to kind of research it, by the way. So that was really, really interesting, by the way. So that's kind of like where I kicked ass, man. Where I really struggled with this year, which was really hard, was really three things. Launching a high ticket program. Obviously it failed, it flopped, but I already gave you my thoughts about how, looking back on it, I probably wasn't ready to have a high ticket program. I did not have a dream team set up. And honestly, like I feel like one of the things that has been happening in the industry, especially digital marketing, are people claiming to be experts when they're not experts. And for me, I believe that I'm kind of like not expert, but I'm really good at networking with people, right? And I truly believe I can do that. But at the time, it was just, I just didn't believe in my skills as a salesperson, as a high ticket salesperson, or any of that. And so that really taking the extra time, there's no rush to create a program that you can't fulfill on, right? And so I think for me, just taking the extra time to get more clarity about what I want to do, how I'm going to help people, it's worth that extra time. Second thing that I really struggle with was not being patient enough. This whole year, I feel like I haven't been moving fast enough. I still feel that way. But also, like, look at, like, it actually came from doing this exercise of looking through all my past media and stuff like that, realizing that things, if you take a look at it, things through a longer point of view, things will actually move quicker than I actually thought. And so being appreciative and grateful of the point you are in your damn pen is gonna fucking freak at me if he hears me say journey, but during the process, that's important to keep perspective of, right? Rome was not built in a day. Your house very rarely cannot be built in a day, right? Unless you live in a tent. So being grateful and appreciative of where you are in the process. Also, vision was a huge thing that I struggled with this year as well. I had a lot of trouble with vision, trying to figure out what I want to do, my purpose on this planet, what I want to do. And I'm still trying to figure it out, but every single day I'm just writing it down, optimizing a little bit, laying one brick at a time, and it becomes clearer and clearer every single day. And I think one of the real things that I learned to transition is that you can't expect things like vision to just plop up on your table. You can't just expect it to just appear or hit you the next day. These things are built like a house. You lay one brick at a time, one brick at a time. It's not built with serendipity. It's built with a process, right? And so as soon as I kind of realized that, I was like, okay, I can put in the work to figure this out. Also, like, what I learned too is that I don't think, like I mentioned it before, but my goals aren't big enough usually. And I think really it was a reprogramming of my mind to kind of look at risk differently, look at risk as an accountability factor, holding myself a lot more accountable. I think in the past, like if I asked Dan Pena to be my chairman, I was actually super nervous, right? But knowing that he's my chairman and he's going to be on my ass, and knowing that if I don't keep up, he's going to sever that relationship, that puts a lot of responsibility on me and it holds me accountable. So even though I'm scared a lot of time and I feel nervous sometimes, this is really good for me. And what I'm excited for the next year is really the next quantum leap of my life, right? I feel like 2020 or 2019, really great year for a lot of things. It was really great for my YouTube channel, hit 10K, went viral in a few areas. But I think this is where everything starts coming together and where I really start flourishing as not only as a business person, but as a human being, man. And if there's one thing I learned from QLA, it's like, dude, your quantum leap is really not that far away from you. As long as you put in the work, as long as you stick into a process, as long as you have a dream team, as long as you have a game plan and you're prepared, there's no reason why you can't hit your goals. So I'm really excited. I would love to. I know I went on and on and on today, but this video is actually really more for myself to look back on, rather than for everyone else. But if you have made it this far, I'm kind of curious, man. What kind of goals do you have set for 2019? What do you want to do? What are you looking to do? What are you like? I would love to kind of hear it and dream big, guys. One of the things I learned is that the best goals are unattainable. Like, they're almost impossible, because even if you fail, you still end up pretty goddamn far. So that's really cool. Also, I just want to say I'm so grateful that you guys helped me hit this 10K mark, man. It was a real big deal for me. I know I don't care about subs all the time, but I just want to thank you for being part of this process, this journey with me, man. And let's hit the 100K mark by the next year. I want to move as fast as humanly possible. Let's fucking do it. And it's not about the numbers, it's really about having the right people there. But I definitely believe there's at least 100K people out there who feel the same way as me. I just need to have a better marketing strategy. I just need to have a better messaging. These are all things I can fix. So really excited. I'd love to kind of hear from you guys. Thank you again for being a subscriber. Go check out my article, and I'll talk to you guys in the next year. Happy New Year's, guys. Love y'all.